everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beth. I live in Suffolk in the UK and I am a mum of 3. I homeschool and I'm also a childminder and I do after school and holiday childcare. Excuse my hair. I think I'm going to put a fringe in. I think I'm going to cut it in. Shall I cut it in myself? Shall I go to the hairdressers? I think that'll just suit me much more. I had a fringe a little while ago. It looked better. Anyway, that's a side point. Today, I thought I'd talk a little bit about homeschooling for secondary education. In the UK, we call that high school. I think in like America, high school is different, isn't it? But in the UK, high school is like age like 11 to 16. And I see lots of comments on other people's, other kind of homeschoolers, vlogs and stuff, which is saying like, can you really do a good job of secondary education whilst homeschooling? And I think yes, you can. I think it looks a little bit different to mainstream, and let me kind of explain why. So in mainstream education, children do roughly 9 or 10 GCSEs, and year 11 at age 16 they tend to do them all in 1 year, and all of the actual GCSE courses are like a 2-year course. You do year 10 and year 11, then you take your exams at the end of year 11. And then kind of the build up to that is all of primary school and years 7, 8 and 9, and that's all kind of the base information. And then the actual GCSE course is that 2-year course in year 10 and 11. Now, I think you can, obviously, if you wanted to, you could teach your child 10 GCSEs in a year. You could do this either through like workbooks, like the CGP workbooks and the Edexcel workbooks. We have found to be amazing. All the information is in there that you need for the course, and it takes you through, and it also has things like little exam papers, and it will test little like things to test yourself as you go through to make sure that you're understanding the work and going through. However, sometimes maybe if you don't understand it, you will need some parental help. Your children will need some help from you if they don't understand, and also you as a homeschooler will want to keep a really close eye that they're doing their work, that they are getting the answers right, they're understanding the information. You'll want to maybe make sure that they're doing tests every now and then, mock papers, past papers for the GCSE exams, and then go through them. And that works for some children. They're very motivated, they can do them themselves. You have a relationship with your child where you can kind of say, this is what you need to do today, and they will do that. I know some children struggle with taking instruction from their parents, so that might not work for you in that situation. Secondly, you could have online tutors who might help, who might teach the whole course and mark work. This obviously costs money. Tutors can, the most expensive ones I've heard of are kind of £55 a lesson, and you'd have 1 lesson a week for 2 years for the GCSE course. But you might be able to get that cheaper. Sorry, Josh interrupted me there. Yeah, so obviously tutors can be a bit expensive, but they will also mark the work, which I guess is the downside when you're doing like CGP books or worksheets, that you haven't got anyone to mark the work. So for some things like some subjects that you might find a bit easier, you might be able to mark that yourself. Obviously there's answers in the book, but sometimes if your child really doesn't get a topic, you might need some help. You might be able to find friends and family that can help you. You might find like a tutor who you can just say, oh, with just this one topic we need a little bit of help with, can we have a couple of weeks tutoring? And they'll say yeah, and that's like 2 weeks. There are obviously online like schools. I don't actually know much about them because we don't use that kind of thing. The ones that I've looked into don't do like 10 different subjects, so I don't really know kind of how that works. Obviously the thing is, you either need to have a child that's going to be motivated to do this stuff, or a relationship where you can really push them to do it, or you need to have a fair amount of money to be able to pay for tutors. So yes, it is possible to do 10 in a year. If that's how you wanted to do, your child would have to work pretty hard to do that. And it would need a lot of organising from your end, you know, like they have timetables at school, you'd need lots of organising. Does it need to be a 2-year course? It doesn't seem to be. Lots of the ones I've seen can be done in 1 year. I even know a little boy who started the English language GCSE in like the January, and they got the year wrong, so he took the exam like that May, like a couple of months afterwards, and he still passed. Like I think that like some of the subjects you can do a bit like that. Just depends what your child is like, doesn't it? And they'd made a mistake there, and he actually ended up doing all of his GCSEs a year early, because they got the wrong year to do them. But he passed them all. He did really well, and then they applied for college, and they're like, he's too young, and then realised. So the way that we do it is my eldest Hope now, she is my only one that's in secondary school at the moment, and she, well, you know, would be secondary school age. She is now 13, so in year 8, and we're going to do 2 GCSEs a year until she gets to 6th form. What we're actually doing is 2 GCSEs a year until she gets 5, because I contacted the local 6th forms and colleges, and they said she needs 5 GCSEs, she needs maths, she needs English language, and she needs a science. So you don't have to do English literature if you don't want to, and then which I hadn't realised, and then essentially she needs 2 others of her choice. So we're going to do 2 this year, 2 next year, 1 the year after, which would be like year 10, and then in year 11 she can have like the year kind of off, and she can do other projects and courses that she wants to. I was thinking about looking into like the Centre of Excellence online, and maybe that she could do some courses on there. And just have a year where she's just doing things that she wants to do, maybe like work more on something like her sewing or her piano, things that she hasn't got loads of time to work on at the moment. So for me, that's a little bit more doable. Yes, obviously children need, if they want to go into jobs like nurses, lawyers, that kind of thing, they need further education. So they need to be able to get into a 6th form or college to get A-levels to then go on to university, or whatever route they are going to take. So they do need 5 GCSEs. I personally think they don't need to do it all in 1 year. You can do that, but for me, part of homeschooling is not rush, work all the time. It would be quite a lot of pressure on me to be checking what she was doing. It's quite a lot for her to take in, I think, to do 5 at once. But doing 2 a year to me seems really doable. It means that she also still has time to do piano, singing, other groups that she wants to go to in the evenings, to see friends, to do social groups. She also does things like sometimes she cleans for people, sometimes she babysits for people. So it gives her time to kind of have a life as well as doing her exams. Now, the GCSEs are not easy, but actually, although you might say, oh, she's quite young, being only 13, if you're doing 2, like depending on how your child is academically, that's completely doable for her. She's doing maths and religious studies this year, and that's really doable. So what we're doing is for the religious studies, she's got a tutor. She's amazing. She's £50 a month. That's 1 lesson a week online. Plus she is available anytime for feedback. She marks homework, etc, etc. And she, to be honest, is doing it all, and I'm just making sure that Hope is doing the homework. And I have seen a real improvement in Hope's work. She started, I think her first exam she got I think it was a 6. And then she's got another exam Thursday morning this week, another mock exam with her. So she's taking them all through the mock exams. She is basically doing it all, and I'm just kind of leaving her to it and just saying, have you done it? And I when she's done the homework, I send it off via email, because Hope doesn't have her email account. And then with the maths, my husband's doing it. He is an accountant, he knows maths, he remembers all the maths from school. How he does that, I don't know. So we're using the Edexcel books, and he's going through all of that with her, and then he marks it and he goes through it with her every week. He teaches the next subject and that's going really well, and that's how she's going to do her GCSEs. They're doing past papers. He is seeing where she needs to improve. He's going on so you don't need to be some super brainy, super intelligent person to homeschool children for secondary school. They can do loads online, they can do workbooks. They need a bit of guidance from you, and it does take something from you just to make sure that they're doing it and to make sure they're up to date with the work. But I think it's more than doable. And as I say, if you're struggling, there are kind of online schools or things that can help that way too. I think that it is a lovely way of life. Like this morning, me and my eldest have been out to Costa. She did work in there, I did work there. We then had a little bit of lunch together. She's now done lots of her work for the day, and so she's just currently having a bit of a chill, watching TV. Then she'll do a bit more work later, and then like, I just love that. You know, like, she still gets to see her friends, still gets to go to lots of different clubs that she wants to go to and see people, but also, like, we get to do life together. She's not at school, she's not getting picked on, she's not having to deal with not being able to go to the toilet when she wants to, not being able to eat when she wants to. She's treated with respect at home, she's not shouted at. I think this is just a lovely, really lovely way of life. You know, I've said to her that if she wants to go back to school, she can do, but I just think this is like the loveliest way of life. And from her point of view, she's very sociable, so she does like seeing her friends a lot. And she's also said, you know, she's going to do high school like at home, and then she's going to go to sixth form or college, and that will be her time to do that kind of thing, when they've got a little bit more freedom, a little bit more respect from teachers, a little bit more say. Like, there's a lot of things that I hear about the school system that make me think there's no way I'd want her in there, and I think she'd struggle in there. She's quite sensitive. I feel like she would struggle with some of the stuff that I hear that goes on. And so I think, you know, if you're really questioning it, just give it a go. I understand that it can be really daunting and really scary, and I was really nervous about plunging into this world of home education, and actually mine were still in primary school when I took them out. And once you're in it, it's just not, it just doesn't seem so scary, and it seems like, I'm like, why did I not do this years ago? Because it's a lovely way of life, and it's so doable. And I think that in our culture, we're just ingrained in our society to think that school is the only way it can be done, school is the only way they can be taught, and that's just not true. And you know what, they might not get 10 GCSEs in a year. Do they need 10 GCSEs? I'm you know, like, it's lovely, that's really lovely for them to be able to do that, but they don't need it. You know, she's also doing like Duolingo. She's learning lots of French at the moment, but she's not probably going to take a French GCSE, but she'll just know a bit of conversational French, and that's amazing. So yes, I personally think, give it a go. Just take the plunge, go for it. It can definitely be done, and not necessarily be really expensive either. Thanks for watching, guys. See you again soon. Bye.